Hello fifth graders, it's Mrs. Trombley here, and today we are going to be starting Unit 1, which is all about adding and subtracting fractions. And before we get super into the unit, I just want to activate some of your prior background knowledge that you already have with fractions. And if some of the things I go through today, maybe today's the first time you've seen them, no worries, we'll continue to go through those things. So right now, you should have a pencil in front of you, and you should have printed out these sheets. If you're not able to print, you could always contact Miss Danny in the office, and she can print off those copies and have them available for you in the office. Or I'm okay with you handwriting these in your spiral as well. We're going to end up taking these and putting in our spiral at the end anyhow. All right, so and these sheets right here that I'm working from are right with the video. They're located in there as an attachment. So what I want you to do is I want you to write whatever I write. And if at any time I go too fast, remember it's a video, so you can pause and rewind. I would suggest maybe having some sticky notes handy, and if there's any questions that you have as I go through this, you could pause me and jot it down, put it on that sticky note, and then next time I see you, we can handle that question. All right, so here we go. Lesson 1, fraction basics, and go ahead and put today's date on there. That could change from year to year, so you go ahead and put whatever the date in the folder is that you got this assignment from. So to start off, it says a blank is a part of a whole amount written with a numerator and a denominator. That would be a fraction. A fraction is a part of a whole amount. So you have dealt with the whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A fraction is not a whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's part of a whole amount. Written with a numerator and denominator. So an example would be, let's say you had half of an orange. You could write that like that. That's your numerator, that's your denominator. We don't have the whole thing, we have part of the whole. Or maybe you have 3/4 of something, or 2/3, or 1/8. So see, we have a numerator, denominator, the top and the bottom, and we have part of that whole amount. We could go on and on forever and ever, but I won't. Okay. The blank tells you how many equal parts of the whole amount you are using. So the numerator is what tells you that. And the numerator is always going to be written on the top in your fraction. So if we said we had half of something, that would mean that the whole thing was cut up into 2 pieces, and you had one of those 2. So when I say the amount that you're using, that's what I mean. Okay, the next one is the denominator tells you how many equal pieces the whole is separated into. So denominator. So that word equal pieces is super important. When you have fractions, we're talking about the same size pieces. So if somebody gave you like half of a candy bar, I mean, especially if it's a sibling, I don't know, I have a brother, and growing up it was, you better make sure that if you break something in half, you both get the same size piece, right? Well, fractions are that same way. So if I broke something up into 2 pieces, these 2 pieces would be the same size. This means you have one of those 2 same size pieces, and that's written on the bottom. Always. So far a few vocabulary words that you know. Fraction, part of a whole amount. The numerator, it's that number on the top in the fraction that tells you the number of pieces you're using. The denominator is written on the bottom that tells you how many pieces the whole is cut up into. An example here, a pizza is cut into 8 slices. Penny ate 3 pieces of pizza. Write a fraction to represent the amount of pizza she ate. Okay, so if we understand that the denominator tells you how many pieces that the whole is cut up into, that helps. It says the pizza is cut into 8 slices. So one whole pizza is cut into 8 slices. That would mean that the 8 would be the denominator, because that's the number of pieces that it's cut up into. Now Penny ate 3 of them, and I want the fraction for the amount that she ate. So the amount that Penny is using is 3. That would make that my numerator. So 3/8 would represent the amount of pizza that she ate. All right, there are 4 main ways to represent a fraction visually. So here we have 3/4, right? If I want to represent 3/4 as equal parts of a whole, this is kind of like that pizza example. And it really could be any shape, and you'll see that as you do your scoot today. But if we have this circle and I wanted to represent 3/4, that means I need to cut this circle up into 4 equal pieces. That means 4 pieces that are the same size. If you start drawing vertical lines there, you're not going to end up with 4 pieces that are the same size. So when you're cutting up a circle, it's done like you would cut up a pizza. So if I want 3/4, this 4 tells me I need to cut this up into 4 pieces. So I would just draw one straight line here and one going across, and do your best to get the pieces to look the same size. I know when we're just kind of drawing things freehand, it's not going to be perfect, but get it nearly perfect. So 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 is what this is cut up into. To show 3/4, that just means that I can shade 3 of those 4 pieces. And again, I'm not making this perfect. These are notes for us to be able to refer back to. So this shows 3/4. This was equal parts of a whole. The whole meaning I have one whole circle that's cut up into 4 pieces. I'm showing 3 of those. Another way to express a fraction or represent a fraction is parts of a group. So let's say I said 3 out of 4 students prefer juicy fruit gum over extra. To show 3 out of 4 students, here's my 4 students. 3 out of 4 means I could circle 3 of those like this. That would show 3 out of 4 if I said how many are in the circle. Or I could, if I wanted, just shade 3 of those. And that would also show 3/4. So that would be parts of a group. Notice there's not one circle like this. This is equal parts of a whole, but this shows 3 out of 4. And that's another way to say 3/4. Okay. Another way would be fraction bars. So we have a rectangle here. If I wanted to show 3/4 on here, with fraction bars, I could, if I wanted, draw a straight line down and one in the center. With fraction bars, it's usually set up just with vertical lines, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I want to show 3/4 on here. That means I need to cut this up into 4 equal pieces. And basically the number of pieces that you want to cut it up into, you draw one less number of lines. So if I want 4 pieces, that means I need to draw 3 lines. And usually if I see it's even, I start by drawing a line in the middle. And if I know I want 4 pieces, I'm going to put 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And to show 3/4, I would just shade 3 of those pieces. So that's 3/4 on a fraction bar. And the last most common way is on a number line. So on the number line, here's 0, here's 1. So those are whole numbers. A fraction is an amount that is part of the whole amount. So it's going to be in between here. So if I want 3/4 on here, you know how I just cut this up into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections? I want there to be 4 sections between 0 and 1. So this is very similar to the same process as a fraction bar. That means I can just draw 3 lines between 0 and 1 because I want 4 sections. So I would put 1 line in the middle, and then I know I need 2 here and 2 here. So I just drew 1, 2, 3 lines, but now between the 0 and the 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So to show 3/4, that means starting at the 0, I need to hop over 1, 2, 3 sections. So this would be 3/4 right here on this line. Because I am 1, 2, 3 sections over, I have still 1 more to go. 3/4 plus 1/4 is 1 whole. All right, set this page aside for now and grab the other one. We're gonna do just a few examples together to make sure you got it down pat before you do your scoot after this. That's the next assignment that's listed in Schoology. So for letter A, I ask, what fraction of the shape is shaded? So I'm asking you what fraction, so I know I'm going to write a fraction for all these, right? Remember that the numerator is the number of pieces that you are counting, and the denominator is how many total pieces this is cut up into. So when I look at this, I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces shaded, 5 of the same size pieces. I'm going to put that on top. And this whole shape isn't cut up into 3. Don't put a 3 down here. I'm not asking you how many are left. It's 5 out of 6, 7, 8 pieces that the whole is cut up into. So 5 out of 8 pieces are shaded. For the second one, what fraction of the stars are shaded? Well, let's count how many are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are shaded. That's my numerator. Out of 8, 9, 10 total stars. If you want to, you could pause me right now and try the rest of these examples, just so long as you press play after and make sure that you have the correct answers on there. Okay. All right, letter C. What fraction of the triangles are inside the circle? Let's see how many are inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many we're counting. Out of 5, 6, 7 total triangles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. Locate 2/3 on the number line. Well, here's 0, here's 1. 2/3 is going to be between 0 and 1. If it's 2/3 that I want to place on here, the denominator tells me how many sections I want to have between 0 and 1. So if I want 3 sections, that means I'm going to need to draw 2 lines. And I want the sections to be about the same size. So I just drew 2 lines, and notice now I have 1, 2, 3 sections between 0 and 1. 2/3 means that starting at 0, I would hop over 1, 2 sections. So there's 2/3. We're halfway there. Letter E, shade 2/5 of the fraction bar. So for 2/5, that means I want to cut this up into 5 pieces that are about the same size, and I'm going to shade 2 of those. So if I want to draw 5 pieces, that means I would need 4 lines. So I'm going to do my best. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not perfect, but as close as we can get without using a ruler. So right now we have, and I always count after just to make sure that I have 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2/5 means that I would have 1, 2 of those pieces shaded out of the 5. To shade 5/6 of the circle, that means I need this to be cut up into 6 pieces. So I used to work at a pizza place, so I'm not too bad at this. I would start by just drawing a line across here. And if I want 6 total pieces, it means I want like 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. So I need to I just drew 1 diagonal here and another diagonal there. And now look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll take some practice, I bet. So that's why we have erasers, right? So 5/6 means I have 6 total pieces in here. That's my denominator. But 5/6 means I would shade 5 of those. 3, 4, and 5. All right, 2 left. This time, instead of having to chop up the number lines, I ask you to label the point that's given on the number line. Now here's 0, here's 1. I know this is going to be a fraction because there aren't any other whole numbers between 0 and 1, right? So this has to be part of the whole. I'm going to start with a denominator. The denominator tells you how many pieces the whole is cut up into. Well, from 0 to 1, that means I have 1 whole amount, right? This is cut up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. That's my denominator. The total number of pieces it's cut up into, the whole number is. Now to get here from 0, that's just 1 section, right? 1/6 would be my fraction. I'm 1/6 of the way there. Maybe try H on your own, and then, so press pause, try it, and then press play, see if you're right. Okay, so for this one, I see the whole is cut up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice I'm not counting the lines, I'm counting the sections between the lines. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections between 0 and 1. And to get to this dot, I'd have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So 4/5. Right, the next thing you're gonna do is some practice with this. So if you look at your next assignment in Schoology, it will have what we're doing in class as a scoop, but I have the task cards for you, so you can just view the task cards, and then you only need to print the answer document for that. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.